Thank God it's Tuesday. Welcome everybody back to First Amendment Sports Podcast Studios of the week. We are in an undisclosed location deep inside the heart of Kensington. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo, and I couldn't be happier to be sitting next to these two guys again, really for the first time since March. We're appropriately distanced. We're following all local protocols and guidelines. And I can tell you that we're as excited as I hope you are for the show that we have in store. He's Tim Strachan.
Excited. I feel like a kid right now. I can't believe
it's
what
like
we're
Christmas.
getting ready to do. And I'm so excited and proud to be a part of it. So no more storm, no storm. Let's get this show on the road, man.
Man, it came down, Kevin. We had no shortage of problems. Kevin Ricka.
It was as close to stopping us from going live as a left tackle in the NFL from 81 to 89, stopping old number 72. But, T, you're right. It is like being a kid. You know, when you're a kid, you had to do a bunch of chores before you got to have the fun. Well, what we've been dealing with the last few weeks with our favorite team, it's been a bunch of chores.
It has.
And now we get to take a peek back into the highlight of our fanship and one of the greatest players that we've looked up to for our entire lives. Can't wait to have this happen.
Well, I will say we got some folks already online, and we certainly appreciate all the folks at Hogs Haven who are checking us out tonight. And I think the best reference so far was the Christmas Story reference that Ken was in the basement changing a fuse. Maybe I was. I think that to Greg, to Eric, to AGH, to Robert, to James, all you guys out there howling for whatever reason you're howling, appreciate you being with us tonight. And I just want to say without any further ado, and I want to check with Luke. Luke, I believe we're on the WCAC stream. I could be mistaken, and I want to make sure I let everybody know. Okay, just making sure we're good. Perfect. All right, so without further ado, now that we have all of our ducks in a row and now that we have all of our good friends and family from all over the D.C. area joining us, let's talk about why we're here tonight. And I want to welcome to the show a good friend of ours and somebody who I guess we've reveled with over the years, and it's Todd and Linda Hevner. We want to welcome you guys to our show. Welcome to Tuesday night.
Great. Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, you bet. Why don't you help us kind of understand the reason for the season? And as everybody knows, and Todd, there's no great reveal. Everybody who's tuning in tonight knows number 72 is on the show. Dexter Manley. He gave everything to us Redskins fans when he was here, and now he's just continuing in that giving fashion. Can you help us kind of bring us up to speed on what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dexter and I probably known each other for, 15 or so years. I originally met him. I co-chaired the Bobby Mitchell Golf Tournament with Tammy Darvish, and we met through that, the Redskins Alumni Foundation. And Dexter was always, I would go to the charity events, and Dexter was always giving back and doing charity things. So when I retired from Enterprise last year, Dexter called me up and said, "Hey, Todd, let's go to lunch. I got something to talk to you about." So I went to lunch. His beautiful, wonderful wife, Lydia, came with us. And they said that we want to resurrect the foundation that they once had. I said, "Well, okay, let's talk about it. What are you going to do?" And I got a little nervous. And if anybody, you guys know Dexter, as good as a football player is, he should be in sales because that guy could sell. So he sold me on the idea of bringing back the foundation, and I accepted. And with any organization, you have to have a good team. So the first person that I reached out to are our good friends Shane and Rebecca Neff, a good counsel family from the WCAC. Rebecca was the former VP of Finance at Enterprise, and Shane's a federal probation officer. You have to have a good accountant when you're doing these charity things. So Rebecca was a perfect fit for that. Then we decided to talk to a woman named Lori Lipstein, and Lori goes back to the Bobby Mitchell tournament. She ran that event with me, and Tammy. And Lori is now the president of Thread Strategies, and she has all the information. Her company deals with the nonprofit arena, so there is not a better person to have on our team than Lori Lipstein. She keeps us all in line, and she tells us exactly what we need to do. And then I said, okay, who are some folks that I know that are in the county, in the community, that have a big draw of people? And I came up with two of my good friends. Pat Bowman and his wife, Mary Kay, accepted the opportunity to do this with us. And Pat's born and bred in Montgomery County, knows a lot of people. So he does mortgages in the area. So he was real excited to join us. And then finally, an old St. John's guy that I think everybody knows, Billy Dwyer, decided that he also would join us on our team. So we truly have put an A team of folks together. We are looking for more board members, so if anybody that's listening in tonight wants to talk to us about it, we'd be glad to take a call or listen to you. So once we developed this team, then we sat down and said, okay, what's going to be our mission? And Liddy and Dexter were committed to it. And so, you know what? We're going to help inner city youth in D.C. with literacy. Dexter got on the platform. We met with an organization that is already doing a lot of that in Reach, and you'll hear a little bit about Reach shortly. But we all thought, gosh, what a better platform. Dexter's story, we know it. Dexter is committed to helping. So Mark and Reach were more than willing to join us and more than willing to get involved with our organization. So that made it just phenomenal. So we put our logo together, we put our website together, we put everything together, and then came up with our mission statement. And if you guys would be kind enough, I would like to go ahead and just briefly read our mission statement and what we're trying to accomplish here. And our mission is, the Dexter and Lydia Manley Foundation's mission is to defend the right to read for students in Washington, D.C. by leveraging the experience of former NFL player Dexter Manley to raise funds for local literacy nonprofits. We carefully vet our nonprofit partners so funds are directed to programs with proven outcomes. Working together, we are sacking illiteracy in Washington, D.C. So that's the platform we want to go with. We want to do things that we can help. My wife, Linda, would like to mention a few things.
For more information, just go to dextermanleyfoundation.org to make a donation. And anybody who makes a donation of $25 or more by the end of tonight, or anybody who's made a donation already, you will be in the drawing to win a Dexter Manley signed jersey. So go to that website, dextermanley.org, and donate today.
And that's today, July 21st. So we want to make sure that we'll be doing that in the morning. But if the podcast is on, it will be for anybody from July 21st. So that's kind of in a nutshell how we evolved, what we're getting into. We're proud that you guys took us. This is our first event. Went back a year. Some of the craziness in the world slowed us down a little bit. We got our boy healthy. Dexter was a little sore there for a while. But everything's good. So you guys don't want to hear me talk anymore. So let's get Dexter on the line.
Yeah, well, before we do that, and just so everyone knows, like, we can see Dexter. He looks like it's third and long, and he's sitting on the end of the line, and he is waiting to get on here more than anything else. I just want to make sure everyone knows again. It's the DexterManleyFoundation.org. We just put it up on the screen. Get on over there, everybody. We got a good crowd right now online. Get yourself in that drawing for a Dexter Manley autographed jersey. As I know everyone watching this show tonight knows, those jerseys are hard to find. You can't buy them anymore because they say an old team name. So make sure you get yourself on over there. What's that, Todd?
It's going to be very rare.
It's going to be very rare, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to – how many – is it $25 per ticket, Todd? I mean, what's the deal there?
We were doing just everybody that did 25 got their name in a drawing.
Okay,
so
okay.
Minimum. But, if you want to give us $1,000, that's no problem.
I love it. And you know what? I tell you what, before we get to Dexter, I want to make sure that everyone understands what Dexter cares about and what he's fighting for. And with that, we do have a video submitted by Mark, who is leading Reach. And, I want to give a chance to put him up on the screen and just talk a teeny bit about what Reach is all about, and I know that right away a lot of Redskins fans are going to understand why this is so important.
Currently, 8 in 10 public school students in the District of Columbia enter high school reading below grade level. But we know that issue starts far earlier, with about half the city's kids already behind by the end of 3rd grade. Many people see these two issues as separate, but at Reach we've created a unique solution. We hire the teens to tutor the elementary school kids. Twice each week our teens are trained and develop lesson plans, and twice each week they use those lesson plans to provide tutoring to 2nd and 3rd grade students. Not only do we see reading improvements for the younger kids, but their teen tutors see accelerated reading growth, improved academic performance, and much stronger high school graduation rates. We also have the opportunity to support our teens through summer and college programming, and a number of our teens have the opportunity to become published children's book authors. We've published 29 children's books to date and have contributed many diverse narratives and books with diverse characters to engage and inspire young readers in our city and beyond. Right now, we serve about 500 kids each year at 14 schools and 1 community center in D.C. But with the support of the Manley Foundation and all of you, we can do even more. We look forward to working with you to do even better by the kids in D.C. You can follow our work by visiting our website at www.reachincorporated.org, or you can follow us on social media on Twitter or Instagram at ReachInc, ReaChinc. Thanks so much for your support, and we look forward to joining with you to do right by the kids of D.C. Thank you.
Mark Hecker, amazing. You're doing amazing work, sir, and we're honored to put your message on our Tuesday night show. I want to say goodbye to Mr. Todd and Miss Linda Hevner, and I want to say hello to the man of the hour. Number 72 in the program, number 1 in your heart, the Secretary of Defense, he who knocked out Randy.
Danny
White. Sorry, I said that. I said that and looked right at your face.
He might have knocked them both out.
He might have knocked them both out. Dexter, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's awesome, man.
Hey, and sorry for keeping you up so late. I mean, for goodness sake.
That's a big task there, because I usually go to bed early, like about 7:15. But I'm standing up because this is a good cause, and I appreciate you guys' effort to help us out and spread the word.
We want every single person watching tonight to be part of that $25 or more donation this evening. We want to make sure we do our part for Mark and Todd and Linda and Dexter. And you know what? Miss Lydia, we don't get things started. Hey, Dexter, you know this better than anybody. You send off your best player off the bus first, and we all know that's Miss Lydia.
That's right. Hey, let me tell you a quick story.
Okay.
I was a freshman at Oklahoma State, and normally the head coach don't come off the bench, off the sideline. And I was we was playing Florida State, and this kind of alluding to what you're talking about. I was sitting on the bench as a freshman at Oklahoma State, 60,000 people sitting up there. Even T-Bone Pickens was there. I will never forget T-Bone Pickens. And so the head coach grabbed me off the bench. He came from the sideline and grabbed me and threw me in the football game, told me to go at nose guard. I went at nose guard. I had 2 sacks, and I was starting at nose guard as a freshman. So I'm saying you need a person like Lydia. I'm going to snatch off the bench, and she's going to get thrust in this program with all her efforts and her smart. She's such a smart, beautiful lady, and I'm very fortunate to be married to her.
Yes, you are, and I very much appreciate Miss Lydia. I've met her a number of times. She is the sweetest, nicest lady you could ever meet, and thankfully, when you shake her hand, you get all 5 fingers back in one piece.
Yeah.
All right, so Dexter, first and foremost, we're going to do this all night long. DexterManleyFoundation.org. The time has come. We're going to lead off with a question that hits right at the heart of the matter. You're giving back, okay. And it's time for everyone to understand that number 72 is fighting for the kids of this city.
I am fighting for the kids of this city. What's the question?
The question is, how'd you get here? Tell a little bit about why you picked out this charity and why it's so important to you.
Okay, good point. Well, I have to take you back to when I was in Houston, Texas, in the hood. I was in the second grade, and I couldn't measure up with the rest of my peers. I was much behind, and I remember my mother and father came to Douglas Elementary School in Houston, Texas, and they told me that I wasn't getting the job done. I had a learning disability. They wanted to put me in special ed. So I went to special ed from the second grade all the way up to the sixth grade. And what I come to understand is that I was functionally illiterate. And I didn't want to face that. I've been looking at my shoelaces for a lot of years. And I went to middle school, Ryan Middle School. That's where I started getting involved with athletics, particularly football. So I did football, track, and basketball. But I really excelled at football because it was my passion. It's what I really liked. And in the seventh grade, there was a teacher that, after spending a lot of time in elementary school in the special ed, you don't really get a whole lot of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. You're just still behind. At least I was still behind. And I went to the seventh grade, and the lady really helped me because she would have me come to school early and sit down and talk with me. We'd do some, in middle school, there is no special ed. Everybody's the same. And so I stayed there till the ninth grade, and I was just fortunate. It's only by grace that I was able to keep getting past because I grew up in the church. I sit on the front row. In the South, you say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. That kind of got me along the way. I went to high school, the Jack Yates High School. They were prominent in academics and all kind of athletics, particularly football. And I stayed there from the 10th to the 12th grade. And it's the same situation. I learned to sit in the first three rows when I was in high school. That was extremely tough. There was no special ed there. But what I come to understand is that everybody supported the athletic program. Football in Texas is like having a higher power, believing in God. And so many people supported the program from middle school to my high school. And there was no special ed class, but I always went to class and I sit on the first three rows, and I was a football player. The faculty supported the athletic program, and I just kept getting past. See, I have so many stories to tell. Jason West, he and I walked to Rice Football Stadium in 1973. I was like maybe 12 or 13. And what I'm saying is that walking to Rice Football Stadium to watch the Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl 5, Super Bowl 7. And Jason West, he started getting in trouble with the wrong people in my community. And they wound up shooting Jason West because he did something, had to do with some illegal drugs, and I've never forgotten that. And so, but walking to that Rice Stadium from my house in 3rd Ward, I walked at least 15 miles. That's just to get to Rice Stadium. And so coming back from that stadium, I remember sitting behind Johnny Carson. I snuck in the game, right behind the ticket counter. And I often wondered, my passion was always football. But at the same time, I just kept believing and standing up for myself and believing in myself. And I talk about that Rice Stadium because it meant so much to me coming from the hood. Everybody said they was going to that game and didn't go. Jason West and I, we walked 15 miles up and back. And Jason is no longer here. He kept making bad decisions. And so I was so determined when I left that football game. Now I was going into high school, and I was so determined. And but I had some issues. I was still way behind, and the athletic program supported me. I stayed there 3 years, and I started getting recruited. I had 37 scholarship offers, and I was still functionally literate in high school. And Jim Stanley came to visit me. He was the head coach at Oklahoma State University, and I never forget. I had 37 scholarship offers, and in my community, it's predominantly African American. You don't hardly see Caucasians come in that community. But I want to tell you something, that when I was getting recruited, those scouts and those coaches was coming, and those black folks in that neighborhood could not believe what they were seeing. Those people kept coming to my daddy's house, that little gun check house, sit on a couple of bricks.
Yep.
And those guys kept getting out of the car and come to talk to me and about football. And my father only came to one football game. That was when I was in high school. And so he really didn't understand that this was my passion, that I started reaching a certain level that I could probably have an opportunity to go to Division I. And Jim Stanley came, and Wayne McDuffie he was offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, so he bought Jim Stanley. And Jim Stanley played for Paul Bear Bryant at Texas A&M back in the, I don't know.
That's a long time ago with Paul Bear Bryant. You would have done just fine. Dexter, you would have done just fine in a Paul Bear Bryant program, just for the record. If anyone has a question about what Dexter could and couldn't do, if he played for Paul Bear Bryant, let me tell you, there might have been another couple rings. I mean, Dexter, your story from the time before you made it to Oklahoma State and the Washington Redskins and all the way through, your story is so well documented over the years. And I just want to make sure I get a chance to say I've gotten to know you as a man outside of the game. It's been a long time since you put your hands in the dirt, and you are you are a man that is shaped by your experiences. And I just want to make sure I get a chance to say thank you for the way that you're giving back to our community. You gave it to us on the field, and you heard it at RFK. You heard it every Sunday. You know exactly how people feel about you in this city. You know how every Redskins fan feels about Dexter Manley. But I want to make sure people understand that there's a man who has been shaped by his experiences since. And I want to talk a little bit about that because you are putting it on the line for this city yet again. You are coming back to make sure the kids don't get left behind. And I just want to say thank you. I want to make sure people understand that this is what this man is up to. And I want to ask you about, since the last time you put your hand in that dirt, the things that you've had to endure that have brought you to this moment.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. But when I came to the Washington Redskins, nothing has changed. I was still battling with the literacy. I kept looking at my shoelaces in 1981 when Joe Gibbs and Bobby Betther drafted me out of Oklahoma State as a 5th rounder. And when I got off that plane in Dulles Airport in 1981, I just felt it in the air that they had a great fan base. People at the Dulles baggage claim, they knew we were excuse me. They knew that we were young rookies coming in here, want to make the Redskins, and I just couldn't believe the fanfare. No one even knew who the hell I was, but still they were supported and had great tradition, the Redskins. And I remember myself, Clint Didier, especially Darryl Grant, and some more guys.
How about a great man Darryl Grant is?
Yes, Darryl Grant, we call him World. And so, I came here as a rookie, And I tell you what changed my life. Came as a rookie. I really didn't know the football plays, but I have to say, in my humble opinion, I was special. Joe Gibson and Richard Pettibone and Wayne Sevier put me on special teams. That's where I cut my teeth in, is on special teams. And all of a sudden, I never forget Corey Bacon and Torgy Torgerson. That was the defensive line coach. They got into an argument. And I'm this young lad that's looking at this guy get into this confrontation with the coach. And they sent him home. They sent him home, and he never played another down. So I was up. I started 10 games as a rookie, and I really didn't know the plays. But I had a lot of effort, and they kept me in there. And all of a sudden, Larry Peccatelli would call a meeting before practice, meaning that we had to do walkthrough. Had to do a lot of walkthrough before practice because redundancy, I was able to pick the plays up. And this happened for my first 2 years in the league. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, 1985, November the 18th, against Monday night against the New York Giants. You guys remember what happened?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, just the fact that as I stood on that sideline with a lot of trepidation, I saw Joe Theismann get hurt and go down. That created a lot of fear on my part. And I stood there. I was thinking, how did I get here? What if that happened to me? What happened to Joe Theismann that Monday night when LT hit him and broke his leg? And it was a devastating accident. It was a devastating injury. Yeah, at least that's the way it looked for me from the sideline. But that sort of shaped my being. See, I was in denial for so long that all of a sudden I would just sometimes pray, ask God to breathe on me so I can not feel and keep looking at my shoelaces.
Right. Dexter,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what I love about your story, and I know your boy Doug Williams is getting his own movie. You deserve your own movie. Because what I'm hearing from you is that you were so blessed in so many ways throughout your life to have the opportunities that you did, but at the same time maybe cursed because you weren't given the opportunities in your reading and academics, but now you're using the platform that football created to now give back so those kids don't go through the same experience that you did.
Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. So when I watched Joe Theismann go down, I just knew I had to stop looking at my shoelaces because I didn't want to wind up like Jason West, even the guys I played with at Oklahoma State, Curtis Boone, Worley Taylor. Excuse me. A lot of those guys, once they finished the 4 years at Oklahoma State, most of them was doing prison time. They got in trouble with drugs and moved on to chemicals. And I remember I didn't want that to happen to me. And so from that point on, I went to the Washington Lab School in 1985. It was in February. Never forget, Sally Jenkins. A lab school is for adult illiteracy and kids who have learning disabilities. Are you guys familiar with the lab school?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I went to the lab school from 1985 to 1991. Okay, when I first went there, Sally Jenkins, was her school, and they gave me a test, and I was tested on the second grade reading level, and I was 28 years old. And by the time I left, when it was time to leave the Washington Lab School, I was reading on, I say about maybe a year, 2 years, could read the Washington Post, which is the 10th grade level. I could read that paper, and I started feeling good about myself. I started having a little more self-esteem, some respect for myself, and I was having, I was married to another young lady. We had 2 kids, and I always wanted to be a good example for my children, but I couldn't read stories to them. One reason I wanted to change my life is that I kept looking at my shoelaces for a lot of years, but the fact that my kids might need a certain medication, I couldn't distribute that medication to them. How could I live with myself? Yeah. And so from that point on, it's been difficult, but at the same time, I just keep striving and I never give up.
Well, that's absolutely a fact. And I've got shoelaces written down here a bunch. I certainly appreciate that from you, Dexter. But from our point of view, as young men in the 80s, you take a look out there, you see the way you played the sport, the smile, the mohawk, the taped fingers, the face mask, the passion you had for us, the fans, and how you interacted with us. It wasn't just the physicality, the speed, the strength, or the sacks. A lot of it was the trash talk. But the reason why you've been embraced in this area is your bravery and your big heart, and that's not stopping here. The love you've given back here, specifically 2nd through 6th, after listening to you talk about that. And the one thing you've always known, Dexter, is how to surround yourself with great people, and that's from your mouth, not mine. But I'll tell you this, Linda and Todd Havner and Lori Lipscomb, your wife Lydia, and Billy Dwyer's involved. There's not a better man that graduated from St. John's than my friend Billy Dwyer. And I just want to say this to you, bud. Thank you for everything, mostly what you've talked about for the last 20 minutes. It's hitting me here like a ton of bricks. Couldn't be more proud of my team and our guy, Dexter Manley. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, and when I came back here in 2004, I had no issues with sort of illiteracy, or I could read on any level. But I remember Todd Hefner and Linda, especially Todd. He was sort of running Bobby Mitchell's foundation, and a guy named Charlie Brockman. I would talk to him about, hey, I want to start my foundation, and I started one out in church. But he told me, get in touch with a guy named Todd Hefner. He ran Bobby Mitchell's. He's a giving guy. He's well connected, and he got lots of money. He gonna contribute to the foundation. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm just grateful to have Todd to be on our team, and we're on his team because it's a team effort.
Yes, sir. And a lot of people got some money, but not a lot of people got a heart the size of Todd's. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, Todd got a lot of money. I've seen he drives Ferrari and.
Poor Todd.
I just when I grow up, I want to be like Todd.
But, hey, we got our first question from the board, from the from the faithful. T said it. Doug's getting a movie. If there's a Dexter Manley movie, who do you want to play Dexter Manley?
Are you talking to me?
Oh yeah. There's already been some suggestions, but I want to hear your answer.
I would say Danny Glover.
Oh, that's on the board. That was Robert Cohen's answer.
Danny Glover better get in the weight room.
He says, I'm too old for this shit. That's what Danny Glover says. And that might be your mantra. I tell you what, before we move on to some old school stuff, I just want to make sure everyone understands. Todd mentioned earlier, we're getting you back. We're getting you back healthy. I know you're still struggling, brother. I know that it has been a rough ride.
Yes.
So tell me how you're feeling. Tell me where you're at. Bring us up to speed. You got hit with COVID.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I've been. I work out 5 days a week. And one day I go to the track. My wife and I would go to track about 5:15, 5:30 in the morning. It's getting light. So light, the sun come up at 5:45. And this Saturday on March 2nd? May 2nd, I went to the track. That was on a Saturday, came back, and Charles Mann and I do a podcast, and they was bringing the equipment over to me on that Sunday, that Monday morning, and I didn't feel well, and Lydia called my doctor, and I had took a test, and he told me I was positive, and so I didn't pass out in here, but the doctor told me, Lydia, to go get what he told you, oximeter to put on my hand, on my finger, and I got down to maybe like about in the 80s, and he told Lydia I could have a heart attack. They need to get me to the hospital right away. She took Sibley and John Hopkins in Bethesda, and they transferred me to Georgetown, and I stayed on oxygen for 3 weeks, but they didn't put me on the ventilator. They told Lydia if I didn't get better the next day, they was gonna put me on the ventilator, and God is good because I got better the next morning. I wasn't on the ventilator, and I just kept getting better, and I tell you, I'm so grateful that I'm alive, that I can have this conversation with you guys. I have 4 grandkids, and I can still talk with them, talk with my wife. I'm a little upset that Lydia didn't come visit me because she couldn't, but it was a lonely place because I didn't know if I was going to live or die. I would ask every doctor to come to me, the pulmonologist. One doctor said I'm going to make it, but the pulmonologist said she wasn't sure if I was going to make it.
Well,
Yeah.
you had a lot of prayers, Dexter.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people pulling for you. And I know my alma mater, DeMatha, which you spoke at Thanksgiving as the guest speaker on their alumni night. I know that the WCAC in particular, too, of which we're all from, and this whole community was pulling for you through all that. And we're so glad to be having this conversation with you as well.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. And Todd, Todd is running the foundation. He heads it up. He's going to be he does it all. Hopefully he gets some of his rich friends to donate. So he has a lot of them now.
He does.
He has like that Tammy on all these car dealerships around
Tammy
here.
Darvish.
Tammy Darvish, we want her money to support the DC and help these kids in this community.
Dex, will you stick around with us a little bit? We got some questions coming in from the board about some Redskins stuff. Can we send them your way?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I got one here for you from Robert Cohen, who, by the way, was the one who said Danny Glover should play you in a movie. He said, Can you put down what your favorite single play in your career was?
Well, I have two. Two.
That's great. That's great.
Okay, we was playing the Buffalo Bills. I think 1985 in what's that place called in Buffalo? Rich Stadium. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. It had 80,000 people, and I never forget. I beat that offensive tackle, and I just slammed Jim Kelly. I slammed, and the next one was we was playing that playoff in 1987 against the Chicago Bears. It was 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2 short yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Short yardage. I was in front of Jimbo Covert. I don't know who the guard was. I shot that gap. They handed the ball off to Walter Payton. We stopped him. Then he didn't even get 2 yards. He's not the greatest running back, but he's one of them. And we took the ball over and went and scored. They punted the ball. I don't know if Darryl Green, that's when he ran his little punt return back. But those 2 plays really stands out to me the most.
When you talk about special teams, we do have someone kind of framed up the question earlier. Hopefully people have an understanding that when Dexter Manley played special teams, it wasn't the watered down, litigated out special teams that we see today. Can you imagine on a return having Dexter Manley bearing down on you in special teams
From 45 yards
from
out.
45 yards out. Now, I'll just let me just pose this as a question to you, Dexter.
Dig a hole with your helmet.
Yeah, you didn't get many opportunities outside of special teams in the first few times out. So, did you put your target on a guy? I mean, tell me about those first couple times you ran down in special teams.
Well, I was on punt coverage.
Oh, God.
And I remember they had, I was a rookie. I'm going to see if you guys, Harold Carmichael. You know Harold Carmichael?
Yes, sir.
Of course.
You know, what's that linebacker from USC? I can't think of his name. It was a linebacker. He was a good linebacker. I think Robinson or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And they had 3 guys on me, and I busted, on the punt. I'm at the wide out, and I had good speed. I was pretty fast for a big guy, and I ran through them, and I went and made the tackle. Harold Carmichael kept trying to hold me, and it was fun. That was one of the special teams moments that I always remember. They had 3 guys trying to block me, and I ran through them, and it was great. Wayne Sevier and Joe Gibbs. They're the best. Joe's the great coach, but Wayne Seville did all the swearing, and so it was. Yeah, we had a great time.
Did I hear you say you were the gunner on the far outside?
Yeah, I was the gunner.
That's not fair.
Oh my God!
6'4", 260.
That's not fair.
I was the gunner.
That's good coaching. I mean, if we're gonna be honest with you, that's the best coach. That's why our coaching staff
That's
took 3
reserved
teams
for
to
like
Super Bowl.
cornerbacks today.
That's ridiculous. It
Hey,
should be
let me
illegal.
ask you guys a question.
All right.
I got a question. What do you think about the Redskins, this name? I'm going to still say the Redskins because that's my heart and soul. I played. They had such a great tradition. I feel like I'm going to still say the Washington Redskins until they change that name. Up until this point, I'm going to say the Washington Redskins. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Matt, I'm going to jump in real quick.
Please.
And I'm just going to use this opportunity to say congratulations on being the all-time sack leader in Redskins football history, because that ain't changing, Dexter, because there's a new name coming next year, and you're still in the lead, my man. They can't take that one from you.
Okay, thank you.
It can never be broken.
It can never be broken now.
No, now they're getting into the name talk.
That's right.
Let's get the important stuff out of the way.
Dexter.
Okay, what do you got? What do you
we've
guys
talked-
think the
yeah.
game's going to be? What's your thoughts?
We talked about this for the past couple of weeks. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. None of us feel comfortable about it because we all grew up rooting for the Redskins with only the most pride and love for our team. It was never anything else. So it's going to be very difficult. But that train's left the building. The names change, and they're still the Redskins right this moment. And I'm going to have a real hard time no matter what they call them. I wish it would just be like the Washington Football Club. But it's going to be some stupid logo with a weird animal, whatever. But
I still call
in my
CBS
heart,
Peoples.
Yeah.
So
in my
I think
heart.
that's more the spirit.
in my heart, it'll always be Redskins for sure.
Okay, tell me which name you guys. I would say the Redskins Senators or something related to the government here.
Yeah, so Dex, I don't know what name they're going to go with. I think I've always been a fan of creating a name that would allow us to use some of those secondary logos and those colors. For example, that helmet that they had in the 70s with the R, I loved it. That makes Red Tails, Renegades, or Red Wolves, kind
Warriors.
of. Well, so I think Warriors is out. My understanding is that they've decided not to renew those.
I don't believe anything.
Claims. Okay, that's fair. But I guess, Dexter, to your point, which you're bringing up exactly what runs to the heart of all of us, whenever we think of Dexter Manley playing football, we think of the Washington Redskins.
Forever.
That is never, ever ever going to change. When I talk to you on this show and I bring you on, I already said it a million times, the heart and soul of the Washington Redskins defense, number 72, and I don't think that does anything but bring honor to anything it touches. And I'm going to struggle with changing that mentality. So, and you're part of that. So I know all these people that are watching right now, and we've only had more and more people tune in, by the way, since we started. The idea that to think back on what we saw that was amazing with Joe Gibbs and Joe Bugle
Glory
and Richie Pettibone.
days, man.
I mean, come on.
And the men who wore the burgundy and gold and who represented us on the field of battle, they were the Redskins. That's who they were. That's who you were, Dex.
And we adored them.
And there's nothing but love and positivity there. So it's hard for us to associate anything negative with that. When I every time I see you, that's the only thing I think. So how could that ever change? I mean, what do you say?
Okay, I want to know one question. Where's your Redskin gear? You know, you have a national hats on, a T-shirt. Why don't you have a Redskin T-shirt on?
Beat Dallas.
Kevin's got one.
Dexter. I
You're
got
right.
the yellow on. You know you come on when it's time to beat Dallas. You sacked
see you,
5
Dallas.
different of their quarterbacks. Your favorite play of mine was redirecting Hogaboom's pass into your boy Darryl Grant's arms for the greatest celebration in Ricka family history after you had already knocked out Danny White. That's why I went with beat Dallas, just in case you were asking.
Well, this guy still have a Nationals hat on and
you're
a
right.
T-shirt.
You're right. I'll tell you what, Dex, I'll tell you what. First, 2 things. First, I look really good in red. That's first. Second, and you know that looking good is important. First and foremost.
It looks great, yeah.
Okay. Secondly, no one is going to go through my laundry and not understand why. Everything is one day at a time. Today was my red day, and the Washington Nationals are kicking off on Thursday night. So that's why I am what I am. The defending World Series champions.
I understand.
I'm rocking it.
Dexter, plus his wife left town on vacation for a little while, and man,
No one's
the
doing
man
laundry.
doesn't have much clean.
I got no clean clothes, man.
Yeah, well, where's your girlfriend?
Oh, no,
Yes.
no.
Yes. Now the Dexter Manley show has started, everybody. Now it's begun. Okay, let's go. It's all bets are off. All bets are off. I tell you what, man. Hey, okay, so Dex, let me ask you this.
Please.
Okay, so we have a
All
viewer.
right, do you want me to jump in real quick?
No, I got one question, and I want to give it to him because one of our regulars and someone who's been a very big supporter of us also recently was going through some really tough times. He got diagnosed with coronavirus, and he was down for the count, a lot like you. And thank God, just like you, he's still here kicking with us. And he has what he likes to call his sandwich question. So here's the question.
Okay.
The Cowboys and the Eagles are drowning. You only got enough time to save one of them. What kind of sandwich do you go home and make?
That's a good. What kind of sandwich? I have to ask my wife. I have to ask, what type of sandwich do I make?
Instead of rescuing the Cowboys and Eagles, you're making a sandwich. That's the moral of the story.
I'm gonna make a Philly sandwich.
Oh,
There you go.
Philly
I'll
steak.
take it.
I take a Philly steak.
I love it. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right, Dexter,
Steak and cheese
I got a
hoagie,
two-part.
baby.
I just want to know this.
Yeah.
The biggest badass you played against and the biggest badass you played with. 2 names.
Okay. The biggest bad butt I played with was John
sir.
Riggins. And the next one I played against probably was Jimbo Covert. Who did he play for?
Jim
Chicago
Covert.
Bears.
There you go.
There you go. And what college did he attend?
I'm going Illinois. I'm just reaching out there. He seems like a Midwestern guy.
No. Jimbo Culver played in the Big 12. Did he not?
No.
Okay.
No. No, he played with University of Pittsburgh with Mark May.
We should have gone
Mark
there.
May, Russ Graham,
Yeah.
Hugh Green,
That's
Ricky
a hell of
Jackson.
a line.
Yeah, and remember that other guy, Bill Freilich? They had an awesome offensive line, but that's what I played against Jimbo Cover. I think he was probably the best. People want to say this guy, Anthony Munoz, but I whooped his butt in a boxing match in Tampa.
Oh, that's so good.
Real quick, don't stop now. How the hell are you boxing in Tampa?
It was when the New York Giants and the Baltimore Ravens played in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Ray Lewis MVP.
Yeah, and so the NFC and the AFC got together, and it was myself, Lawrence Taylor, some other guys.
Say no more.
Yeah. So we boxed at halftime, but we were boxing in Tampa. It was at halftime, and so Anthony Munoz was there, and a lot of other AFC guys.
Oh my God!
But he won. He won, but I really beat him.
Hey, Dexter, I want you to give, since the gloves are off, the non-football related story with the Redskins, something you want to share, because it seemed like you guys had so much fun throughout the 80s playing for the Redskins. Do you have anything you can share with us off the field?
Yeah, well, I can just tell you this. The late Joe Bugle, he was a great offensive line coach. I went up against his guys, and he talks about it. He started this hog trend, and I remember those guys used to drink, and out there at the 5 o'clock club, they wouldn't let nobody else join. And I remember Joe Theismann wanted to be a hog. Can you believe he wanted to be a hog?
Yeah, I believe it.
They would not let him be a hog. They wouldn't let him be a hog. And John and Russ Grimm headed the hog thing up, and they had tons and tons of beer, kegs of beer after practice. And Joe Gibbs went out there and told them to cut it out. Only one they listened to was John Riggins, and he got those guys to stop drinking after practice and cut the 5 o'clock club out. And I just thought that was fantastic, because all those guys was in there drinking. And at that time, I wasn't drinking, but I had my share, and nobody knew what I was doing. But God grace, I turned the corner.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Kev.
Yes.
What do we got?
Well, Dexter, I want to make a statement or two, but I have a couple questions. It's called "Did you sack them?" Like I got to ask you, if you remember, did you sack them? Because what you did do is sack 12 starting quarterbacks in a Super Bowl.
Yep.
12 different men that started a Super Bowl, you've sacked them. 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 5 Hall of Famers. It's going to be a lot more than that as time unfolds. But,
Yes.
now that we're sacking illiteracy and we're defending the right to read here, we're going to have a little bit of fun. Did you sack a man named Steve Yoinson?
No, I don't think I played against him.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go quickly.
Yeah.
Guido Merkins. My man Guido Merkins. Did you sack him?
Those guys must be in the 50s or something.
No, you did sack a man named Guido Merkins was sacked. You did.
I never
you
heard
did.
of those guys.
Listen, you're not supposed to. You were too busy sacking guys like Joe Montana, John
Yeah,
Elway.
right.
Hey, Phil Simms, do you think he looks in his car in all the mirrors to make sure not only traffic's clear, but that there's no Dexter? Because you sacked his butt many, many times. I'm talking about multi-sack games. Phil Simms is got to be just worried about you. Twice in 84, a 2-sack game in 84, a 2-sack game in 86, a 3-sack game in 87, and a 4-sack game in 88. Poor Phil Simms. He's got, he knows all about Dexter Manley.
Yeah, Phil was a tough guy. He had a heart of gold, but he just was a little slow. He couldn't get out of the pocket. Seemed like he had elephant feet. But yeah, I couldn't do it all by myself. We had another guy on the other side, Charles Mann, Darryl Grant.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Dave
So
Butts.
sometimes it was just great, the four of us. We don't get a lot of the credit we should get, but I just think that even in Washington with the Redskins front four on defense, we was a hell of a group.
Let me ask you this, Dex. Washington Redskins defensive line, as it stands today, is talent-laden. I know you pay attention a little bit to the guys in the burgundy gold lining up. In 2020, you got Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and Chase Young, not to mention Ryan Kerrigan coming off the side. Do you think these guys have a chance? I mean, do you think this has a chance for the Washington Redskins or whatever they're going to be called in this upcoming season to make a difference in the game?
Well, I will say this here. I think Jack Del Rio is an excellent coach. He was a player. He played at USC, and he's very knowledgeable of what type of defense he want to run. And they have on paper, but you don't play on paper, but on paper, the Redskins have a strong front seven. And now with this guy coming in from Ohio State, Chase Young, I think it's going to be a game changer. I think this Montez Sweat, he was started off a little slow last year. Well, he was a rookie, correct?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But I understand he has the speed, but he's not utilizing that speed to his best ability. And I think that this guy, Jack Del Rio, going to mix it up, going to have some blitzes. The name of the game is you got to get to the quarterback. And I think these guys can get to the quarterback. This Payne and Jonathan Allen, they're going to be very good up front, at least on the defense side.
Well, Dexter, you said it.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have to prove it. This is the first time when I look at these front seven, this defensive line and those front guys, it's the first time it looks anything that resembled you and Charles Mann. You mentioned Charles earlier. It's great to hear that you guys are still in touch and everything. Love it. But in my opinion, we were spoiled as kids because I thought everybody had two defensive linemen like that, and that just wasn't true. It may have been the best tandem ever in the NFL.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I tell you that Bobby Beathard was an excellent guy. I think Jack Kent Cook did the right thing, bringing him in from wherever I bought it from Miami. He came from Miami, and I just think I tell you how I met Bobby Beathard. We was in Tampa, Florida, 1980. I was a senior coming out of Oklahoma State. I was at the it was had the combines. They was all over the country, but this was in Tampa, and Bobby got me. Bobby and this guy's name was Richard something. He left the Redskins to go be with the Seattle Seahawks, but those two guys came to get me out of a meeting, and in Tampa. And he took me up to his room, and Bobby Beathard told me he was going to draft me because he really wanted me to take Corey Bacon's spot. I never forget that. He told me he wanted me to take Corey Bacon's spot, and on draft day, and back in Oklahoma State, ours are different. We're hour behind East, and we was in the Midwest, and all the scouts and these people want to represent you, the agents and lawyers, and say I was going to go in maybe in the second, third round. And I remember talking to Bobby Beathard, and he said he was going to draft me early. And I was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I trashed my apartment because the first day it was over. And then I'm telling me the second day, I was a little ticked off that I had to wait the second day. And so to make a long story short, I think Bobby Beathard was insightful, and he picked myself and Mark May and Russ Grimm and Tom Flick. I didn't think he was worth in it 2 nickels, but they still picked him, Tom Flick. Yeah, and they picked Larry Kubin and.
Well, those first 3 names. Come on.
Yeah, and so I guess what I'm saying is that Bobby Beathard brought me in here, and he was a smart guy because I was a good football player. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about because when I hear you talking and I hear you talking with such passion about Bobby Beathard in those days, the idea that it doesn't matter what the team gets called, it doesn't matter where they play right now, the idea that we can carry forward what you guys laid down in the 1980s especially has a chance to move forward. And one of the reasons why is because, Dex, because you're still here. You're still giving back to the community. I want to make sure everyone knows once again, DexterManleyFoundation.org. Get on over there. $25 or more. Get you entered into a giveaway for a signed Dexter Manley jersey. Want to make sure you guys all understand. Again, we said the reason for the season, and that is that Dexter Manley is here, putting his finger or his hand in the dirt again for the kids of this city. That's so important, Dex. And again, we thank you. And I want to just ask you this question, and we'll call this your get out question, because I know Miss Lydia is probably giving us the wrap up and saying, "Hey, you guys, it's about time."
Yeah, Lydia likes sex, and I like sex, so we got to go and go make out.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give you. You know what? I would not have been on a show with you unless you made that. But I'm gonna go through anyways, Dex. I'm gonna give this to you right now. Take us back to RFK Stadium. You're talking about that feeling of the place rocking, the whole city shaking for you. What? Tell me about the best of that. Because you're about to recreate that, but I just want to talk about.
He wants to go rock something.
I know.
Else right
I understand. But that's where we come from. That's where we all were born.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
I tell you the greatest moment and probably in RFK history. I'm only speaking from my history. I tell you, we was playing nobody gave us a chance to beat the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC Championship game, and I was driving from Reston, Virginia, and you come all the way down that Dulles, take the Dulles till you take the Beltway. I saw all kind of Redskin fans and their flags and as you get close to RFK Stadium, and there's so many people had on their gear, their war face, their paint, and I never experienced that my whole life. To watch that, and then you go to the stadium, you get dressed, and you come out of that tunnel on a Saturday. I never forget as long as I live. You see all these banners and the people just all excited. They was doing that at pregame stuff, and players live off of that. At least I did, and I think my teammates. I could say I saw so many John Riggins posters, and I saw a few Dexter Manley posters in the end zone, and it was such a great feeling. We could not have done that without that history of RFK and those great fans who believe in the history of that franchise and being at that game on that Saturday and supporting the Washington Redskins. That's the greatest moment I ever seen in sports, and people just everywhere. You know how we get over by RFK Stadium, you got the people in the hood, they trying to sell stuff, they running up to the car, they want $1, whatever.
Well, hey,
call them what you want. Bring them back to D.C.
Bring them back to D.C. and let the entire city rock and rattle. The Dexter Manley Foundation. Yes. Get over there to DexterManleyFoundation.org. Donate. Understand that it's going to a cause that we all believe in and love, because we all believe in loving you, Dexter. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Thanks for making Tuesday great.
Hey, thank you. And Todd Hefner, give me a ride in that Maserati.
You got it. And Miss Lydia, we love you too. We appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Yes.
Thank you.
You got it.
Be safe, Dexter.
There you have it, everybody.
Unbelievable.
The Dexter Manley has rocked Tuesday night like only Dexter Manley can.
Yeah, he doesn't mince words.
He never has.
No.
He never will. And it's the reason why every single time I do a show with Dexter Manley, someone says, you never know what he's going to say. And I say, I know what he's going to say. He's going to make people love him.
Yes, and it's because he's defending the right to read and sacking illiteracy. After that, now what? Now you just get good old Dexter.
Yeah.
He's giving us nothing but the best.
Absolutely.
His whole career.
It's wonderful what he's doing, but also the passion that he spoke about stuff, the passion he spoke about the RFK experience, the passion he had for football, the passion, I mean, just the way he would get into it. It was so genuine. I mean, You're right, Ken. That's why you got to love him, man.
That's why you got to love him.
Hit me freaking out over here. I was there that day.
I know. I was ready to just throw up this table. And
Dexter, I wasn't about to tell the story that I was there because you know who else is there? Dexter.
Dexter was there.
He single-handedly won the game.
He was a little bit closer to it, yeah.
He got us to our first Super Bowl that day.
Yep.
Playing defensive end for the Washington Football Redskins. Danny White goes to the locker room because he got crushed. Hogue boom. Dexter put the pressure on. And next thing you know, D. Grant's high stepping.
World.
None of us will ever forget it.
World.
And who has been on this show before and who we do love as well, and he's a great man.
And look who Dexter tied us into tonight. I mean, guys, the Hevners, sorry.
Yeah.
Todd and Linda Hevner.
Billy
Unbelievable.
Dwyer.
We dealt with Lori
Billy Dwyer.
She was
Lori
incredible.
Lipstein.
There ain't no one better than Billy Dwyer. And like Todd, I didn't even know that we knew each other with Billy Dwyer. This is, once again, Dexter surrounded himself with nothing but class. So if you're out there, like Ken said, Manley, DexterManleyFoundation.org.
Go there.
Right there on the screen, guys. Check it out. $25. You are entered into a raffle to receive a signed Dexter Manley jersey. That's the one you're going to hang on your wall. I look forward to learning who won that because I'd like to think that the people who won it are going to be from this show tonight. So the people who are watching. So appreciate you guys. We are coming back next Tuesday night. We got a cool show. We got J.B. Brown.
Yeah, on the WCAC
DeMatha.
Spectacular. Former DeMatha, University of Maryland, longtime Dolphins. He had a couple other years with a few other teams.
12 years in the league.
But, yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable career. So looking forward to having him on to talk about his old days, the current days, and what he's up to now.
We will be gearing up for training camp, which right now is scheduled to start, sometime next week, unless they change the schedule. Everyone seems to be changing schedules. We're not going to deal in change schedules right now. We assume players are going to be reporting. We assume the NFL is going to get after it, even though it will be without preseason games.
Great.
Sorry, we're not sorry.
Awesome.
My wish has been granted.
It's-
After 4
I know.
years of arguing with you guys, you're okay with it?
I'm totally
It was a
good
very
with it.
nuanced.
I'm totally good
it's
with
not that I
Listen to the
love
big-
preseason games.
It's all
I
we
just
were
don't
given.
hate them.
I don't know
I
if
don't
your elders
think
taught
they're
you this at
necessary.
home, but always listen to the man with the big dome is what I've been taught.
Always.
growing up.
That's
Just
here.
Just don't actually do what he said.
Don't
just
do
make
what he
sure you
says.
listen. So you don't do what he said.
We are back next Tuesday night from the podcast studios of First Amendment Sports. I want to say a special thank you to Luke David. I want to say a special thank you to Victor Maddox, all of our good friends at Automatic Films, Automatic Sports, and, of course, our inner workings of First Amendment Sports, which include these two guys. I'll get to them in a second because I want to say thank you to Todd and Linda Hevner. Thank you to Mark Hecker. Thank you to Dexter and Lydia Manley. You guys are doing awesome stuff. Appreciate you guys being with us on a Tuesday night, the greatest night of the week. He's Tim Strachan.
We spoke to Dexter Manley on it. That was awesome. Can't say anything more. Thank you, Dexter. Good luck. Please support the organization. We'll see you guys next week.
He's Kevin Ricca.
And I was equally as proud to talk to Dexter. Growing up, you can't forget it. I'm 44 years old right now, and all I know is he's still helping. He is doing what he can in our city to sack illiteracy, and he's right there in the forefront. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Ken and T. This has been awesome. It's been really awesome to do during this time. Like we always talk about a 1-hour distraction weekly from all the craziness outside of this.
Yep.
Tonight, that 1 hour is spent with someone that we've looked up to, separately but together for a very long time.
We have
All right,
some
won't forget.
awesome guests coming up in the next month. We are excited about sharing that with you. Please do us a favor and subscribe to First Amendment Sports. Smash that button wherever it is on your screen. I could be pointing to it, whatever. It's free. You get a notification of when we're going live with whatever we're going live with.
Hit it like Danny White.
Hit it
Yes.
like you're hitting Danny White. Rock it like the bleachers at RFK. Appreciate you guys. And at the end of the day, we wish you guys the best. We hope that you're happy. We hope that you're healthy. We hope that you're getting one Tuesday to the next the best way that you can. And thanks for doing it with us. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. Thank God it's Tuesday.